Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our second preview show of the season, which is again we're going to preview Matchday 2 of the Premier League. And as the season has started, I said it last week. I felt it's like if you get through Monday and you're just waiting for Friday, there's you can start thinking about Saturday and Sunday. I do like the midweek games, but anyway, we make do with less football. But joining me today, we've got Gaurav sitting back on the show. Gaurav, welcome again. It's been a while since we've had you. It's great to have you back again.
Good to be back here.
Yeah, it's great. Yes, that was a bit of an audio issue, but we got you there at the end. We've also got Siddhant joining us. Siddhant as well, welcome back to the show. Again, a bit of a while since we've had you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. Yes. It was always a pleasure to have you. And of course, you've got Nishikant, who's unfortunately feeling a little under the weather. So all we can see is his photograph, but we'll hear him. So that's something. Welcome back, Nishikant. Yes.
Thanks, Ray. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, and it's good that you're here because Prakhar is kind of breaking your records. So you got to catch up with him because you guys have this thing. Who's going to make more appearances on the show? Prakhar actually offered to join again today if we had less participants, but it's like, well, let Nishikant get on the board. So anyway, I think by my count, it's not 2-1. By the way, we can maybe keep an overrun. But anyway, all right. Well, let's get right into it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about this upcoming weekend. We've got lots of big games coming up. Let's start with the first one. Let's start with Liverpool against Burnley. Now, we're not going to cover all 10 games again. So apologies to Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, all these fans. We won't be able to cover all the games. So we'll try to do as much as we can, but because of time. So we're going to start with Liverpool Burnley. I think that's an interesting one. And I know we've not got any Liverpool fans here, but maybe we'll start with you, Gaurav. How exciting is it to see Virgil van Dijk back because I have him on my thumbnail photograph. So how exciting is it to see Virgil van Dijk back in the Premier League?
It's actually good to see him back. He's arguably the best centre back in the league. He was till got injured. So we'll finally get to see what Liverpool is all about. After disappointing last season.
Yeah. Is he now the best? Because Ruben Dias won the Player of the Year award last year, right? So should be Ruben Dias.
Yeah, that is why I said before he got injured.
I'm just kidding. No, I don't know who is the best centre back, but yes, it's definitely good to see Virgil van Dijk back. Siddhant, I don't know if you watched the game against Burnley that we saw last season at Anfield, where I watched that game, and to be honest, it just felt like Liverpool's season because they created all these chances, and then Origi gets a one-on-one and he puts it on the post, which I think kind of sums up his career pretty much at Liverpool. And then, of course, Burnley got a goal, which some people say was a dive. I don't know if it was a dive for a penalty. We know Fabinho is not going to play this game. Sadly, his father has passed away, so he's going to be absent for this game, which is sad. How much of a loss is Fabinho going to be in that midfield? Because often it feels when Fabinho in midfield versus Fabinho anywhere else, it's completely different for Liverpool. They need Fabinho in midfield. It just makes them tick, doesn't it?
Yes, it makes them tick, and he's like the Kante for them. I mean, he even breaks a play. He doesn't allow the attack to be very smooth for the opposition. So they are going to miss him, but I think the almost full strength Liverpool is back. So I expect Liverpool to actually win this one.
Yeah, but who do you play in place of Fabinho? Do you play? Because let's look at the midfield option there. They've got Henderson, they've got Thiago, they've got Keita, and they've got, I guess, Oxlade-Chamberlain, if you want to count him as an option. Am I missing anyone? In terms of Wijnaldum's not there anymore, but I mean Jones probably is a little bit too.
Play there.
I'm sorry, who?
Milner can play there.
Milner, yes, right. So let's say those 5 options. Who would you play in place of him? Would you play? I don't know if Henderson is match fit, and I guess then the other option is only Thiago, right? Because you wouldn't want to play all Oxlade-Chamberlain there. But who would you play there, Siddhant?
I would have actually thought about Henderson itself because of his experience, and if someone has to replace Fabinho for this particular game, I think it should be Henderson.
Yeah, I guess the only question is his fitness because he didn't play the last game. As far as I remember. So it would probably be Henderson, but I think if he's not fit, then probably will be Thiago, who's a very different kind of midfielder. Have you, Nishikant? What do you make of Thiago? Because he seems like a player who can offer so much, but doesn't offer a lot. And I know there's this meme about him, always having the thumbs up, thumbs up thingies. But he's not even a starter for Spain at this point. What do you make of him as a player? Because I just feel I almost feel like he's better. He's made out to be better than he is. I know it's a controversy, but he's almost made out to be better than he is. But I don't know. Maybe you've seen.
Yeah, I mean, when he definitely has an impressive CV in terms of trophies and everything. But if he were really that good, would Bayern have let him go?
Yeah.
It comes to that. So I think he's, I mean, maybe in a more tactical setup, like an Italian or a Spanish league, he might do well. He's that kind of player. Probably Pep Guardiola kind of manager would like him. But I don't know if the way Liverpool play with their, Klopp calls it, what was that, hard rock style or
heavy metal, heavy metal.
Yeah, heavy metal style.
Yeah.
Right. So that requires a lot of physicality from the players, to continuously go up and down and give everything on the pitch. And I don't think that's the kind of player he is. But he's a good player in the sense he has technique. He's pretty good on the ball. So I wouldn't put it past him to adapt to Premier League and adapt to Klopp's style. And he has had, last season was his first season, right, in English football. So this is his second season. Definitely, I would expect him to improve. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him this season adapting really well to how Jurgen Klopp plays and how Liverpool plays.
Yeah.
But coming to tomorrow's game, like Siddhant said, I think the replacement for Fabinho should be Henderson if he's fit.
Yeah.
If he's not, maybe Milner, because I haven't really seen much from Fabinho. I don't think he really adapted well to the English football and the intensity of English football, and especially the intensity at which Liverpool plays.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it will be better to play Jordan Henderson, but I wouldn't really put it past him to adapt.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess Thiago will probably still start. It's just which position, because they don't have a lot of midfielders beyond that. Because otherwise, then you're going to Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain, and so he will start. The question is where he will play. I guess is
I think
the thing.
I think he could play well alongside Fabinho when he's fit.
I guess
It's quite similar to Gundogan in his playing style.
Probably a double pivot might be a good position for him. Like how Jorginho and Kante play for Chelsea. Probably that kind of situation. Maybe someone partner him with someone who can run up and down, and then just like Jorginho, he can sit back and then spray the ball around. Maybe that would be a good way for him to go about. But then Jurgen Klopp doesn't really play that kind of system, right?
Yeah.
So
not yet anyway.
Not yet anyway.
Well, we'll talk about that, because that's a very interesting point about the double pivot. I'll come to that towards the end. Actually, I'll talk about that a bit later on. We haven't even covered the front three. We haven't even covered a lot of other things, but we'll leave all that. Gaurav, just a quick note on Burnley. Do you think they will get relegated this season? I mean, the question is always every season, will Burnley get relegated? And they somehow, they've gotten that Wigan, Sunderland territory of always managing to somehow escape. Is this a season where it ends, or do you think it's going to continue?
I think they'll survive the season as well. Like this, they'll start slow, but they'll probably pick up some points midway through the season. They'll get
backing Sean Dyche.
Yeah, he has said he doesn't have a lot. I mean, it's probably one of the few managers who could actually complain about not getting money is probably Sean Dyche, because he actually doesn't get a lot of money to spend. So, but we'll see what happens with that. And now that I've criticized Thiago, I'm sure he's going to score a hat trick tomorrow, or get 3 assists or versus something that's going to happen, because that's what usually happens. But anyway, Liverpool Burnley, that's our first game, and we'll see if we can maybe do a review show tomorrow covering that game as well. But we'll take a look at that. But that is a very interesting game. As I said, I have the sneaky suspicion that this season Liverpool are going to do something that's going to surprise us. I don't know what it will be, but they will do something. And I sometimes fear Liverpool more than I do Manchester City as a United fan. But anyway, let's move on to the next one. Let's talk about Manchester City against Norwich City. And you talked about double pivot, Gaurav, which was that I think it was Nishikant, right? I was talking about double pivot. So the double pivot is the reason why City won the league last season. I believe that's the reason. That changed everything. And yet when we go into this season, Pep hasn't gone back to a double pivot. He's almost given that up. And I feel like he didn't really want to play it, but he did it because he thought he had to. And now he's like, well, no, I don't need to do it anymore because I'm Pep Guardiola. Should he go back to a double pivot? I mean, not necessarily for this Norwich game, but should he go back to it this season?
I think against top 4 teams like United, Spurs, Arsenal, and Chelsea, you have to play double.
Sorry, did you
Like
put Arsenal in
Rodri-
a top 4 team?
No,
Just-
the top 6, 7 teams.
No, I'm kidding. No, it's okay. No, I understand what
Yeah.
you mean. No.
So he has to play Rodri and Gundogan probably alongside De Bruyne.
Mhm.
So he will go back to that. I'm pretty sure of that, especially if he concede goals this season.
Yeah. Mhm.
To be honest,
Yeah.
I don't think so. I've just can't rely on Mendy or Jinchenko. Right. So we are going to concede some goals from the left flank. So it'll probably go back to the double pair at some point this season.
Yeah. Nishikant, I mean, I watched the Spurs game. I don't know if you saw it, but it just they looked blunt. And that, let's be honest, they looked blunt.
Yeah.
And
I was surprised with their 4-4-2 as well.
Yeah.
The way they started.
Yeah,
Kind
I guess
of
it was.
4-4-2.
Yeah, it was kind of 4-4-2, but I think it was more of a 4-4-1-1 at times, and then it was like a 4-3-3.
It wasn't like the traditional English 4-4-2. It was more like 2 false 9. But in the end, at the attack, it was again 2-3-5. The same thing that happened with Barcelona as well under Pep. They attacked with 5 players, and they still attacked with 5 players.
Yeah.
But the lack of a striker, a proper number 9, it showed against Spurs.
Yeah, because when you say 4-4-2, you think 2 strikers, but actually he didn't play 2 strikers. He didn't even play 1.
Yeah, it was
It's-
Grealish and
Sterling.
Torres.
Oh well, Torres.
It was Torres.
Torres, yeah.
So they were kind of up front. Again, like it wasn't a traditional 4-4-2 that comes to mind when you say 4-4-2, the English 4-4-2. But yeah, those were the 2 kind of players who were probably tasked with being in that central area.
Yeah.
But obviously, Pep Guardiola's system, the attackers are pretty fluid. So that midfield and the wingers, they tend to overlap and exchange places, interchange places, and they're all over the place. But they need a focal point. It showed that they are missing a striker, and that's why City are desperate right now and are ready to pay. I mean, if rumors are to be believed, 150 million for Kane.
Well, we've just taken that as gospel fact. We just assume that Kane's going to come for 150 million. On this show, we've just taken the gospel fact. That's happening before August 31st.
They are probably the only team that can afford Harry Kane right now.
Yeah, I will come to Harry Kane a bit later on, but let's focus what City have right now as opposed to what.
Yeah,
I mean, you talk about 4-4-2. Yeah, and that's a Pep 4-4-2, it's not English 4-4-2.
Yeah, but it's a Pep 4-4-2.
The only question though, Siddhant, is if you need a focal point, do you take the risk and you say, let's play Jesus, and he's not going to get us goals. We know he's not going to score goals, but maybe he can do something as a striker, and then you rely on the other maybe 5 players around him or 4 players around him to score a goal. Or do you basically say, no, you know what? He's not, Ferran Torres has scored goals, Sterling has scored goals. We'll go with that and we'll try to make it work. I mean, again, this Norwich City, I don't see too many issues with this game, but just in general, if you're the manager, what side of the fence do you go on?
I would never actually pick Jesus because he's not good as a striker. He is not good as a false nine.
That guy is a backup striker in a team that doesn't have a striker. So
exactly.
That pretty much shows how much Pep rates him.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I guess my point is also more about when you look at Giroud, right? He's not a goal scoring striker. I mean, if you can call someone like that, he's not really a regular, consistent goal scoring striker. And yet he plays as a striker, for France or whoever, he plays as a striker and he does his job of getting others into the game. I don't know if that's Jesus' game. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
That's not his game. That's what he's not like a target man, and he can't hold the ball up well. So he doesn't do even those things right.
Yeah. So I mean, how is he a striker then? I mean, what prompted Pep to think that he's a striker? I just don't know, because if he can't do that and he can't score goals, why is he a striker? But anyway,
I mean, not all signings are successable, right? I mean, he might have been.
We're piling on Jesus. I tell you what, he's going to play tomorrow. He's going to score a hat trick and he's going to sit us all down. That's what's going to happen. But I guess I get your point that you don't want to play. You wouldn't want to play Jesus as a striker. So who would you play as a striker then? Who plays that number 9, false 9, whatever?
I think either in that team, I think either Sterling or Ferran Torres. Both of them can do a good job over there.
Who would you pick?
I would pick Sterling. I think,
Sterling as a striker.
I think he has got good experience playing as a false nine by now in Pep's team.
Yeah,
he does that. more often than not. Yeah.
Yeah, I do feel that Torres has attributes of a striker. I don't know, Gaurav, maybe you've seen more of him than we have, but I just feel he has some attributes of a striker because he's a pretty good goal scorer. And I know not all goal scorers have to play a striker, but he seems to have those attributes. Okay, Gaurav, let's assume if you look at the 4-3-3, I think you said you want Rodri, you want Gundogan, and you're probably going to have De Bruyne. That's going to be your 3. If we go with Ferran Torres as your striker, and we have to assume that Jack Grealish will have to play because he's 100 million pounds. I know that it doesn't work that way, but if he has to play on the left, who do you play on the right? Do you play Sterling? Do you play Riyad Mahrez?
On current form, Mahrez.
Well, I don't know. He did miss that open goal chance. I think he probably missed the best chance of the game against.
Yeah, he did. But actually, he was pretty good in the preseason games. So I think he should be picked ahead of Sterling.
Okay, well, I think we're getting there. I think we're kind of there. It is Norwich City. I mean, it's actually a good game, and that's not up to debate. But I think if you're struggling for goals, playing as Norwich City is a great game because they won't play with a low block. They'll be open. They'll try to attack, and City are going to pick them apart. I think, and that's what's going to happen. Nishikant, what's your score prediction for that one? Actually, we didn't. Yeah, we had to go back to do the other one too. But what's the score prediction for this one?
So I think 3-0 to City.
3-0 to City. Yeah. Siddhant, what's your prediction for Liverpool Burnley? Because we didn't do that, so let's ask you that one instead.
I would predict a 2-0 or 2-1 win for Liverpool.
2-0, 2-1. Okay, yeah. I think it'll be 2-0. I can't see Burnley scoring, but yeah, 2-0 makes sense. Gaurav, City, Norwich, what's your prediction? Well, they're both City, but yeah, Manchester City, Norwich City.
I think it'll be 3-0.
3-0? 3-0. I think it's going to be 5-0. I think it's going to be
5-0.
I think it's going to be 5-0. Yeah, because I think they'll get it.
Won't be surprising.
No, because it all depends on how quickly City score. If they score an early goal, Norwich are going to try to attack, and then they'll get a couple, and then the heads, and then City will get in confidence and they'll score a couple. I think Jack Grealish. Well, I don't know. No, I think I'll say Jack Grealish is either going to get a hat trick or he's going to get 3 assists. One of those things. He won't get both, but he'll get one of those things. That's what I think is going to happen. I just feel that the game's
I'm not
predicting
a high score because De Bruyne is probably not going to play. He's injured right now.
Who's injured?
De Bruyne. Pep just confirmed in his press conference.
Oh, he's injured. Okay, yeah. Well, then probably 4-0. Okay, then yeah, I'll go a bit concerned. Yes, 4-0. Yeah, okay, it's 4-0 then. City, I don't think it matters. Different. No, the thing is, I'm looking more at the opposition. I don't think Norwich are that good a team that are going to play because City if you want to stop City, you have to park the bus. Norwich is not the team that's going to park the bus. So the only way they can play is attack, and it's what United did with Leeds, where they're going to have spaces and they'll exploit that. That's why I think it's not that I'm thinking that City are very good. I just feel this game suits them in that way. So, 4-0 I think is fair. I guess, yeah. I mean, I guess I got carried away with the Grealish assist and hat-trick thing, but I just feel this is a game where I think he will do very well in, and maybe not goal contribution, but I think he'll do well. I didn't go on. I could have said Jesus is going to score a hat-trick, but I don't. That he's not going to start, so I don't think that will happen. That would be getting carried away. But anyway, we got that prediction there. Those are our big games for Saturday. We're now going into Sunday, and let's talk about Southampton against Manchester United. It's an interesting one. So Southampton lost 9-0 last time these two teams met. It was 9 goals. United had, and they also went down to 9 men, which I think played a big part. But Nishikant, does Oli start? Is this a game where you start Sancho and Varane together for the first time?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the perfect game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Southampton. I have a feeling that they are going to go down this season.
Go down, yeah.
Right, because I mean, they would have gone down last season had it not been for all the goals that Donny scored. In a team that really played bad. I mean, that was really out of form last season. Somehow that guy still manages to score goals, and now he's gone. Out of nowhere, Aston Villa went and signed him.
So they didn't do it out of nowhere. They got 100 million pounds from a certain club.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but no one knew about it. Right?
I understand what you mean. Yeah,
signing, right? None of the top tier transfer gurus and the journalists knew that this was even going to happen. So I think that's a big loss for Southampton, and I fully expect them to go down this season. I like them as a team. I mean, they have played some really good football, in the time that they have been in Premier League. But I think this season is probably the last one for them. So I expect Manchester United to, I expect this to be a walk in the park for them. So no game better than this one to introduce Sancho and Varane right? And it's an easy game. They'll have a good game. I mean, they'll get the lion's share of ball. So it'll be good for your attackers to introduce someone new in attack. This is the best game. So yeah, I would like to see Sancho coming up.
I just want to tell the footballing gods that this is a Chelsea fan who's saying that, not a United fan. So it's a Chelsea fan saying that. It's a walk in the park. It's not going to. United never have walks in the park. That doesn't happen. But anyway,
I'm expecting a hat trick of assists for Bruno.
For Bruno,
Yeah.
well, I know. But we already. I think that's a little bit too much, right? One player already got four assists.
Yeah, I mean he scored a hat trick, so I'm not expecting him to score a hat trick again. But he's gonna give assists, and Sancho and Cavani will score tomorrow.
I don't know if Cavani is going to start.
Cavani is not.
I don't think
Cavani is
back
not playing
yet. No, I don't think he's back
okay.
yet. No.
Who?
He got
Then
extended
Rashford.
time off. Rashford is injured too.
Still injured?
Yeah, he's going to be out till October. He's not around for a while. You
So
can see how much research. You can see how much
so I was
research
going
we
to
do.
predict 5-0. I'll reduce that to 3-0, but still walk in the park nonetheless.
No, this okay. I think you need to cut. I think the cold is getting to Nishikant a little bit. I think the pain, the medicines, the drugs are getting a bit too much. The meds are getting a bit too much. I got it. So yeah, so I think let's assume that Sancho does start. Would you now again? This is interesting. This is something that I think about because everybody keeps saying play Pogba in the middle. In this sort of game, I don't see Southampton don't generally park the bus, so I don't see them as a park the bus team. But would you play Pogba in the middle, or would you still play him on the left in this sort of game?
I think this is a sort of game you could take some risk, right? You can try playing him in the midfield inside Fernandes with Sancho and someone else on the other wing.
Yeah, because I mean, to be honest, if they do play Pogba in the middle, then the only options for the forward line, if you assume Sancho and Greenwood will start, then that leaves you with Daniel James and Anthony Martial. Those are the two options, I guess, that you have, unless you want to play Donny van de Beek on the wings. But I will talk about Donny van de Beek next. But I mean, yeah, I just feel with options, I think he should not play Pogba in the middle. I think Pogba plays in the wing.
I think he should continue with Pogba on left because
only because of the options.
Yeah, and he does well there for United, right? Better than whenever he plays in midfield for some bizarre reason, because he plays in midfield for France and he does really well.
Yeah.
But for United, he does well when he's on left.
Well,
so
that's
why
because...
change something that's not broken, right?
Yeah.
So continue in there, put Sancho on right, and you have Greenwood
in the middle.
As a striker. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we all know why. Well, there's a certain NGK, N'Golo Kante, that plays for France in the middle. That's why Pogba.
Probably.
that helps, doesn't it? But anyway, I think he should play that, but I just don't know. I don't see Fred and McTominay as a starting I don't want to see them as a start. I thought Fred was pretty bad actually in the game against Leeds, but he scored a goal, so that tells me that he's probably going to play this game just because of the fact that you can't drop a player who scored a goal. And I think McTominay was pretty good, so I believe that. Siddhant, talking about Donny van de Beek, and this is something I don't think he will start this game. I honestly don't, and. At what point, and maybe not this game, but at what point will Donny, because he's done a lot of work in preseason. Apparently, he's done a lot of gym work. He's been very good in preseason. But at what point there's a moment where Donny van de Beek tells himself, I don't think I have a future here because no matter what I do, the manager is not picking me. At what point, maybe it will probably not be that game, but at what point does he start thinking that for his own career?
I think till date, Ole has not figured out where he wants to play him in the first place. So that should be a big hint for him. I think he's really surplus to requirements in the current United squad. He should look at least for a loan deal or something, to get away and restart his career or something. Maybe he's waiting for his big United moment. You never know, but I don't think Ole rates him.
I don't think either. I don't think he does either.
I don't think he likes him.
Yeah, I don't think he doesn't like him. I just don't think that he sees him. The thing is, it's that 6-1 defeat that happened to Spurs, right? That's where I think, I just think that 6-1 defeat to Spurs has now kind of made Oli like, I don't want that kind of result happening again. And so he knows McTominay and Fred will ensure that kind of thing doesn't happen. And sometimes when you have a manager who thinks like that, then, there's no place for Donny because he's not displacing Pogba and he's not just displacing Bruno. Exactly. So the only place for him is on the bench. And sometimes, and if those players keep doing what they're doing, then there's no opportunity coming along. So I don't know. It's difficult with Donny because, you do need a squad game and maybe at some point there'll be injuries and he'll get an opportunity, hopefully. But it's a curious one because I don't know. I don't know with Donny Van de
But
Beek.
will he be satisfied with that is the question, right? I mean, I don't think he's going to
That
be
part I don't
satisfied
know.
with
Yeah.
some FA Cup games or League Cup games or things like that. Not sure because he was a pretty good player in Ajax, right? That was his last club, right?
Yeah, Ajax.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe a loan deal back at Ajax will
I
do him
don't.
some
Yeah.
good.
I think United don't want to do a loan deal because it just reduces his value, right? Like, because you give him a loan, unless it's a loan with an obligation to buy. I think that's something they would look at. They want to sell him or they want to have a loan, but they don't want to do a loan where he's like, you come back. It's like Dallo, right? You bring him back and then nobody wants to buy him for the price, and then you kind of still his value has kind of gone down. But yeah, I mean it's an interesting thing about Donny Van de Beek and where he stands because I don't know. I don't think the formation that Oli plays suits him. I just think that he's not a CDM and he's not an attacking midfielder. But I mean, it's what it is. Sometimes
he's more in the box to box mold, but
Yeah.
but I think he has Bruno and Pogba ahead of him, and he can't displace them. I think he himself knows that. So
he's waiting for Pogba to leave next season.
I do think that was why he was bought, was because I think United anticipated Pogba to leave, and I think they wanted someone who could sort of like be a sort of replacement. I think that's why he was signed. But now the Pogba is staying because he's not going anywhere, so he's kind of had to wait for his moment. I don't know, but I don't think I don't know. I don't know where his career is going, and I think he's probably going to have to figure that out as well as to what he wants from United and from this one. But I mean that's a thing. That's a rolling conspiracy thing. Anyway, Gaurav, what's your prediction for this one?
I think it will be a 7-0 win for United.
Okay, this is okay. I don't know. Okay, I think we need to shut this down. Oh my God, 7-0. Is this some kind of data? Because I said 5-0.
3-0 is very plausible.
3-0. Okay, okay. I see. I can see Nishikant. I think it's 3-0. I can sort of understand that 3-0. Okay, 7-0 is just Gaurav. That's just that's just jinxing. That's blatant.
Come on.
Shameless.
I mean, but you're playing a team that conceded 9,
right?
So.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
I mean, they conceded 9 last season.
Yeah, but they were down to 9 men. But they were down to like 10 men within like a minute. They lost a player within a minute, and then they were down to 9 men. I don't know. Anyway, Siddhant, what's your prediction?
I think it's going to be a 3-0, and it's going to be 3 penalties won by Sancho and then scored by Bruno.
Wow. I'm sarcastically clapping. No, that's wow. 3 penalties. He did score 3 open play. I said he scored 3 open play penalties last game because they were all one-on-one shots in the penalty box. So you can count them as penalties because whatever Bruno scores. To be honest, the new rules. I don't think any team is going to get a lot of penalties this season with the new rules that have come in. I don't think so. But anyway, 3-0. So we've got 3-0, 3-0, and 7-0. And so I'll be the pragmatic one. I just have a feeling. See, United lost to Sheffield United, right? I think Sheffield United Man United. I think they were definitely the first team that lost to Sheffield United last season. I think they might have also been the only one that lost to United because that's how bad they are, and they're bad. So I'm not taking anything for granted. I have a feeling it's either going to be a sketchy 1-0 or it's going to be a 1-1 draw. I have a feeling, when people say it's taken for granted, I don't like this team. So I think I'll go with the 1-0. I'll be a little bit optimistic and say it'll be 1-0 because that's what I feel like it's going to be. But they're going to, I don't know. You guys are going way over.
No, but I don't think Southampton defense is good, man. Even Ryan Bertrand has left, right?
That's true, actually, yeah. But United have a way of making even average defenses look good. So let's not, I mean, the VP team, this is crap. Like, anyway, but we haven't even gotten this real shenanigan part yet. Okay, let's talk about Wolves versus Spurs really quickly. I'm not going to spend too much time on mid-table teams. But no, just kidding. No, we'll talk also. I guess the only the plot point though, Siddhant, is Nuno Espirito Santo's return to Wolves. He's going to be back in Molineux. This is his first game. Just 2 games in, he's going to be back there. Well, they beat Manchester City 1-0. Then they went and lost to Pacos de Ferreira in the Europa Conference League. It's in a game which I think they blatantly threw. I think that's as close to match fixing as you can get without actually fixing a game. Because but what will the Spurs be expecting from? What will I guess what will Spurs be expecting from this game?
See, he understands Wolves very well, right? I mean, he has coached them before. But I think Wolves' game is never easy. I still expect Spurs to edge this out because of their superior attack. Even without Kane, I think Son is in really good form.
Yeah.
But it will be a very cagey match. I mean, I don't think Wolves are going to let Spurs win easily.
Yeah.
I think it is going to be a 2-1 or a 3-2 scenario in favor of Spurs.
Well, 3-2 is not really cagey, but yes, okay, 3-2, 2-1. That makes sense though. Gaurav, Tanganga versus Traore. He did well against Tanganga did well against City attackers. I mean, Traore is kind of a little bit different. A little background noise there, but yeah, I don't know who's. That's not Nishikant, I know that, but okay, it's
What,
usually
the train?
yeah. There's some sound in the background. I guess it's a train.
Yeah, train just went by.
Oh.
A really noisy train.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, well, I do like trains actually, but anyway, yes. So Gaurav, I mean, Tanganga against Traore. Traore is kind of different, right? I mean, he's the kind of player who you don't want you don't want him running at you, but at the same time, you don't mind him running past you because then he doesn't score a goal anyway.
Exactly.
But yeah, but Gaurav, who do you think is going to come out on top in that battle? Tanganga against Traore. Oh,
I think it will be Tanganga.
Mm-hmm.
Am I audible, guys?
Yes, you are now. Yes. Yeah.
Traore is like, he's good on his day, but he's really, really inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think. I expect it to be a draw.
Draw. Okay.
One or probably a 2-1 win for Wolves. I don't think Spurs are going to win tomorrow.
Wow. 1-1 draw or a 2-1 win for Gaurav.
For Wolves.
Yes. Yeah. For Wolves. Yeah. Gaurav has totally gotten over last weekend. Totally. He's gotten totally over last weekend's defeat. No. Okay. That's fine. Nishikant, what's your prediction?
1-1.
1-1. No.
I mean,
yeah. It just feels like
to
one
me,
of those
it's a very evenly matched game, right? I mean, kind of same level of quality with both teams. So I would expect to, it will be cagey, like Siddhant said, and I expect this to be a draw. 1-1 is what I'm predicting. And to answer your question, Tanganga versus Traore, even though it wasn't directed to me, I think Traore will get the better of him. But like you said, even if he gets past you, he's not going to do anything. So he will get past him.
Yeah. Much, yeah.
But he's not going to do much.
Yeah, he stagnated a little bit, I think, last year.
Yeah.
But maybe
I mean, he runs. Yeah, so he can run. He's going to run, but that's pretty much what he'll do.
Yeah,
even in the last match, I think he was, he came in one-on-one situations with the keeper and just blasted it over the goal and stuff. So he doesn't have that much of an end product.
Yeah, I think he needs to. I think the oil that he puts on his body, I think it kind of causes him to slip a little bit. Probably, I don't know. I'm kidding, but yeah, I mean, yeah, and I've heard those stories about the baby oil and stuff like that, right? That he puts on. So maybe, yeah. Anyway, all right.
And on the other hand, I think even Lucas Moura is in good form for Spurs, and he's a really good player for them. So
yeah, there's definitely Spurs have a lot of positives to take from that game. I think against City, I think they did a lot of things right. I just wonder if that's the way they played against City is the way they can play against Wolves and expect to win. And I guess that's the point where I think we would say it's a draw because that's where it is. And I think I guess a draw is a more likely result as well. I think a 0-0, 1-1 makes sense to me as well. All right. On that note, we get to the big one. A big one. It used to be a big game. I think it's still a big game for the clubs. I don't know if it's a big game anymore in the context of the Premier League, but it's a big game. We've got two Chelsea fans here, Nishikant and Siddhant. And so Gaurav, you and I will probably be Arsenal fans just to counterbalance. No, we're not Arsenal fans. We'll try to counterbalance it by being Arsenal fans. Maybe. We'll see who wants to be an Arsenal fan these days, right? Let's start with Chelsea. Nishikant. Romelu Lukaku excited. Maybe he will start. Will he start? Should he start?
I hope so. I hope so. Yeah. I hope so. I think it's a good game for him to start. I'm expecting that, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't because he hasn't had that many sessions with the team. So Tuchel might still go with the tried and tested Kai Havertz and Werner partnership up front. So. But I'm looking forward to it. I want him to start. I want to see how, as soon as he gets on the pitch and starts getting into the groove, better for us. So I would like him to start. Bad thing is that Pulisic is ill, got COVID. That guy just can't get a break right now. Is
Ziyech injured as well? I believe he is.
No, he's back. So
he's
that's
back in training.
So he's been training for a couple of days. So there's a chance that he may feature. I don't know if he'll start. He'll probably not. Tuchel is kind of, he's a very cautious man. So he'll probably not start him right away. And he, the way he has played in preseason, I would say, it's better not to start him, keep him and start him when we are confident that he's 100% fit and there's nothing, not even a slight chance of a niggle, because he looks really sharp. He looked really sharp in preseason, and he can be. He's one of those players, right, that who can make a difference, who can win you games, who can make a pass and create a chance out of nowhere. Right?
Yeah.
He's one of those. So I would want to be a bit cautious with him. But
Sure.
yeah, I don't see any reason personally why Lukaku can't start, and I'm looking forward to see him start and probably create a Drogba kind of legacy where he scored against Arsenal every time. So
Okay. Hold that thought, because I have a question on that. We'll come to it second. Let's start. Siddhant, what's your back five gonna be? Or let's say 3 defenders and 2 wing backs if you want. But what's your back five gonna be? Who's gonna be in that?
I expect Silva to be back, and I would expect Rudiger and Christensen to be on either side of him. The tried and tested formula.
Okay.
I'm not sure that Chalobah is going to feature right away against Arsenal. It was he featured probably because Silva was not match fit yet.
Okay.
Yeah, he had fewer training sessions compared to the others because of his late arrival. I think it will be reverted to the tried and tested formula.
And your 2 wing backs?
I would like Reece James and Chilwell to start.
Okay.
But if Tuchel wants to attack more, he might go with Callum Hudson-Odoi on the right wing and continue with and start Chilwell on the left side. I've always noticed that he when he wants to attack, he actually chooses one wing back who's defensive and one wing back who's attacking. So if it's Chilwell, then he might start with Hudson-Odoi on the right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've noticed that post that you made. Yes, it's a very
I would go
observation.
with Hudson-Odoi on left and Reece James on the right. He played a preseason game on the left as a left wing back,
Right.
and he did well that game. It allows him to cut into his favorite foot as well. On the right, I don't really like Hudson-Odoi when he plays on the right, either as a wing back or as a winger. I think he's just like Rashford. He doesn't really suit on the right. He's more a player who's better suited on the left side of the play. But I agree with what Siddhant says. So Tuchel always chooses one defensive wing back and one kind of attacking wing back. So I would prefer James on right. Could be Aspi on the right as well. But I'd like to see Callum on the left as a wing back.
Well, then that means that Chelsea have 3 left wing backs then, because they've got Chilwell, they've got Alonso, and then they've got Hudson-Odoi. That's like an England squad thing right there, isn't it? You have like 3 right backs or 3 left wingers. But it's
but only one of those 3 can defend, right? Only Chilwell can defend. Alonso and Hudson-Odoi can't defend. They are not.
But if you have 4 others on the other side, then I think it's fine to have one who doesn't defend.
And
I would like Baba Rahman on the left wing back. He's not left the club yet.
Yeah, he hasn't left yet.
Well, I mean, I'm not counting Zappa Costa and those guys. I'm just saying that what you have. So, because otherwise, we could get.
I think Chalobah will start.
Oh, you think Chalobah will start? And who do you in place of Silva or?
Yeah, so it'll be Silva, Chalobah, and Rudiger. Silva in the middle, Chalobah in the right centre back.
Right.
Rudy as the left centre back. Either Aspi or James. I have a feeling that Tuchel, this would be a season where Tuchel gradually phases Aspi out, and probably in favor of Reece. I mean, obviously he's a captain and he's a very important person in the squad, very legend for the club. So it wouldn't be right to just leave him out in the cold like what AVB did in his stint with all the senior players. And Tuchel is definitely not that stupid. So he'll gradually phase him out, which is the right thing to do. So I would like to see that partnership of Silva, Chalobah, and Rudiger with Callum as a left wing back and James on the right wing back.
Gaurav will assume that Nishikant and Siddhant are a bit blinded by the love for Chelsea on this question. So I'll ask you this one. Do you think Chelsea can afford to have Silva and Azpilicueta in the same team? Should they have both of them in the same team?
No, I don't. I think Nishi is right on. Like, Asping is going to be phased out from the team this season. and probably will be replaced by Reece James on that right wing.
Yeah.
And maybe he could be used as a backup centre back,
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I just wanted if both of them could play, because I think they did play a lot of games together. Well, not a lot, but they did play quite a few games together last season. But I don't know if they can. But all right, let's talk about the front three very quickly, Siddhant. If Lukaku starts, then you've got Werner, Havertz, and Mount for those other two positions. Assuming that it's going to be Kante and Jorginho, because I would assume that those two will start in the middle. So do you go with between those three?
Pulisic as well, right?
No, well, he's not available for this one. I guess in the future that will be a bit of a question as well, because then they've got Pulisic and Ziyech as well. But for this one, who's your pick out 2 out of 3? Who do you pick? Havertz, Werner, assuming Lukaku starts, obviously. We don't know if he will, but if Lukaku starts, then...
if Lukaku starts, then on the left, since Pulisic is not there, then I would expect Werner to start. And on the right, it's actually tricky between Mount and Havertz. But maybe Tuchel will pick Mount ahead of Havertz. He has done that in the last season as well. I think he prefers to play Kai more centrally, more as a false 9 or in that striker position, and not so much on the right. So if Lukaku is actually starting, then I would expect Mount to be on the right side.
Okay. Yeah, that actually makes sense. I think he does like Mount. I think Mount does start a lot. I think Mount is one of those players who has to start, I guess, for Chelsea when he's fit and available. Just a question of where do you fit him in the team? I guess he will play on the right. And I guess there's a lot of things about false nines. We keep talking about false nines all the time. I wonder that's because there are no good strikers anymore. So everybody's a false nine because nobody wants to be a striker. But all right, let's talk about Arsenal, Gaurav. We're Arsenal fans for today. Where do we start? Ben White. If Lukaku plays, what's Ben White's mindset going to be like? Because I think that's important, because he had a bad game against Donny. And I think just for that reason, probably Tuchel might be thinking, should I play Lukaku from the start and try to bully him, or should I give him a bit of sense of comfort and maybe bring him on later on? But what's Ben White's mindset going to have to be like to counter that threat of Lukaku?
I think, to be honest, he's going to struggle against Lukaku. Because Lukaku is the type of striker who likes that, bullying the defenders. And Ben White being 6 feet tall, and he hardly won any header in the last match like we saw. So he will struggle, and I think it will be a really, really tough game for him.
Yeah, I just wonder also that he doesn't have any support. Like he doesn't have a Dunk or a Duffy or someone like that to back him up. Like he's probably going to have Callum Chambers. I think is probably going to be his partner. I'm not sure whose partners. Maybe Gabriel. I guess will be one of his partners, but I don't know. I think Arsenal play a back three, right? So they're gonna have 2 centre backs. So yeah, I wonder what his mindset is going to be. Thinking that he's gonna have to he may want to hide from the battle. I mean, that might be something, but I just wonder what people think when they go into a game like this, where you kind of know that everybody expects you to fail. And then how do you overcome that, and how do you get out of that mindset? I think that would be interesting. Another question though, Siddhant, I mean, there's a lot of talk about Chelsea spending money, and they spent a lot of money. Arsenal now has spent over 100 million pounds as well. I think they've gone to about 130 million pounds. That's more than I think even more than United have spent this season. Technically, as of now, it's more than what City have spent as well, technically, but we know that will change very soon. I think it's more than most teams would spend. And I mean, so they have spent money. I mean, surely now you would expect that somebody's going to say, you know what, the squad has technically improved because we spent for you this money. It's time for results now, isn't it?
I don't think so.
I'm talking from the perspective rather than what we expect. But like the perspective has got to be that we've given you this money to spend on players. You spent it. Now we expect you to bring in the results, isn't it? Isn't that how it's supposed to work?
Of course, the board. If we are talking with respect to the board, then of course they will have this kind of expectation. But even though they have spent that much money, when I look at that squad, I don't find it complete. I think I find a lot of positions lacking, especially since Partey has been quite injured quite frequently at Arsenal. So, they lack that, powerhouse in midfield. They are lacking a lot in the striking department as well, I feel. And they have spent 50 million on Ben White. I am going to be balanced on that. I don't know how it's going to be come end of the season, but a lot of that 130 million has actually gone into Ben White itself, right? I think they have signed 5 players.
I think
And
4 of they've now signed 5 players, right? Yeah, they've signed Ben White, they've signed Sambi Lokonga, they want Nuno Tavares, Odegaard now has come in, and you've now got
Ramsdale.
Ramsdale almost done, not officially announced, but almost done.
It has been announced like 10 minutes back.
It was announced. Okay, well, there you go. We've now officially, we're not going to do a transfer reaction for someone like Ramsdale. No, I'm just kidding. But no, we're not going to do that. But we might do something with someone else. But yes, that's 130 million pounds. I mean, here's the interesting question as well, because I was a big fan of Emiliano Martinez and what he did in the FA Cup, like just last year. And I was like, I thought if Arsenal is stupid enough to let him go, then, someone at Chelsea should sign him. Now they've let him go. And a year later, they spent 25 million pounds on Aaron Ramsdale. Mismanagement, bad management.
It's a series of bad decisions, right? I mean, you make one bad decision, then you cover it up with another bad decision. I mean, it's not ending. I think they need a better director and a better manager. Actually, that's where it's going to start for them.
Well, yeah.
Allow me to play devil's advocate here, though.
Sure. Yeah, please go ahead.
With Martinez, that guy had been at Arsenal for like 10 or 11 years, been to multiple loans, and never impressed anyone at any club he has been to, right? Then out of nowhere, with Leno injured, he had one great, a great phase in that particular season after 10 years of stay at Arsenal. Yeah. So from a board perspective, at that point, when a good offer came for Emi Martinez, for a guy who had been there for 10 years and never impressed anyone, in my opinion, it was probably a right call. Obviously with hindsight, when you have the luxury of hindsight, everything changes. And if people had hindsight at that time, they wouldn't have sold him. But I think it was a right decision at that time, because they were getting a good money for someone who really never impressed, not just at Arsenal, but at any place he went on loan either.
Yeah, but I mean, he was only 27, I think, at that point, wasn't he? So I mean, goalkeepers do take a while to mature. We know that.
I think it was more Martinez who forced his way out.
Yeah, I guess Martinez.
But he couldn't replace Leno for the number 1 spot, so he thought, why not?
I mean, at that point, once you've done so well for that 6 months or 5 months, whatever period, or 3 months actually, 3 months period. I mean, then it's like you don't want to be a number 2, right? You've got to go and either become a number 1. And I don't think Arsenal wanted him to be number 1, which again, sometimes prices dictate things like that, right? I mean, Leno was the pricier goalkeeper, so you kind of have to play him. But now it'll be interesting to see with Ramsdale coming in. Is he going to be number 1? Is it going to be Leno? And why has Ramsdale come to Arsenal if he's not going to be number 1? So I'm sure there'll be some assurances about things. And I think that'll be one to keep an eye on as to what develops there. But coming back to Arsenal, coming back to this game. So I guess, I'm not sure, but I think Aubameyang and Lacazette are still kind of not so fit. So they'll be scrounging. Yeah, so they'll be scrounging around for a striker. Maybe another false 9 that they'll have to find someone to play, because apparently there's no strikers left anymore in the world. But I mean, Odegaard, should he start? Gaurav, should he start Odegaard in this one?
I think it might be too early for him to start. Like, he joined them last night.
No, he's not available to start.
I guess he was not registered.
He has
right?
He
has not even available.
He has some visa clearance left.
I mean, oh God. Okay, so we're kind of like trying to scrape the bottom barrel for players, because so I guess Saka will have to start. I guess Emil Smith-Rowe will start, and then you're probably
Martinelli.
Martinelli, I mean, if that'll probably be his front 3, I guess, and then you're looking at in the midfield, I guess Xhaka and who's the other one? I mean, it's probably Lukonga. Lukonga. Yeah, I guess I'll have to start him, because I don't think they'll want to, but they'll have to start him. I guess it's not a bad thing to start youngsters, because I mean, at the end of the day, the senior players don't do that much. But is this a game for Willian? Is this the game for Willian?
He's not available because of COVID.
Oh, he's not available either. Great. Okay, so this is not the game for him either. Wow. And so we're seeing how much research I've done in this one. Oh my God. I know. Okay, so that's the final question, I guess, which I have to ask, and I was going to ask for players, but Gaurav, Mikel Arteta, well, how important is this game for his Arsenal career now? Is a bad result going to be a problem, or is it is it going to be like, well, that's just we got accepted at this point?
There's another train coming, I think.
Yeah, there's another train. Well, I guess the train is that train coming for Mikel Arteta to pack him off. I don't know. It's like a really thing, isn't it? But
I don't.
yeah, I mean,
honestly,
yeah.
I don't think so. Like, he doesn't have the squad available for him yet. Like, most of his senior players are either out injured or they're out for COVID, or they are yet to attend any training session. So this is too early to judge him, and will most probably end up in a loss. Was the kind of form Chelsea have. So
Yeah,
too early to say anything.
1.5 years is too early to tell. I tell you what, some people made their minds about other managers within a month. But
again, it comes to Chelsea to save Arteta's job.
Exactly.
I think,
wait, Nishikant, just hold on. I'll
might
come to
have
you on that. I have that plan for you. Just hold on. I know what's coming. I know. Just relax. Yes, for a while. But yeah, I said this. I thought that if those first 3 games don't go so well for Arteta, I think there'll be a lot of pressure coming off of the international break. He's lost against Brentford, which he probably should have won, but he's lost that one, and now he's coming up against Chelsea and City. You lose those, then you start talking about 0 points in 3 games. And I don't know what Arsenal are thinking at this point, what their ambitions are as a club, because it's not what you would want as a fan to see. But anyway, Siddhant, what's your score prediction for this one?
I know they don't have a lot of players available, but it's always a tough one. I mean,
yeah.
Our record against Arteta surprisingly is poor, actually.
Hey,
I'm
United,
hoping
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has not scored a goal against Arteta yet, and he's played like 4 or 5 games. He's not scored a goal. I'm not even joking. That's just what has happened. He's not even scored a goal. So I think he has a good record against certain managers. But anyway, yes, your score prediction. Sorry.
I'm hoping for a 2-1 win for Chelsea.
2-1 win for Chelsea.
Yeah.
Who's going to score the winner? Just
yeah. If it's going to be like a dream, then it has to be Lukaku, who scores the winner. Yeah.
All right. Gaurav, what's your prediction?
Same. I think it will be a 2-1 or 2-0 win Chelsea.
Okay, 2-1, 2-0. All right. I have a feeling it's going to be a bit of a tough one. I think it's going to be 3-1 to Chelsea. And the 2 goals, I think 2 goals will be scored by defenders or midfielders, not by the striker. That's because that's very Arsenal like to let players who don't score goals score goals. I think that's going to be. Nishikant, I'll leave it over to you now because I know what's coming from you. So yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So no, so I'm torn when it comes to this prediction. Right. I hope for 3-1.
Yeah.
With
to Chelsea, right?
Yeah, to Chelsea. Sorry, 2-1. 2-1 to Chelsea, not 3-1. With Alonso scoring the winner.
Right. Yes.
Because I have a feeling that it'll be our defender who's going to score as well. Just like you said. And I know I didn't pick Alonso in my starting lineup when I was doing that, but I think Tuchel will play him tomorrow and he'll score for us.
Okay.
So I think he'll probably score the first goal for us, Alonso. It might be. But my gut feeling is that we'll probably mess this up as we always do against Arsenal. It'll be a 1-1 draw. Everyone will go that Arteta managed to get a point against European champions with a depleted squad, and that will save his job. So that's the only solace that I have. Yeah, everyone's happy. Arsenal fans, Chelsea fans, rest of Premier League fans, everyone's happy that Arteta stays. But that's my gut feeling, 1-1. But the prediction, I'll go for an optimistic prediction of 2-1 with Alonso scoring one of the goals.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be a prediction show. It wouldn't be a Chelsea prediction show without Nishikant telling us how Chelsea are going to screw up a result. It wouldn't be that, isn't it? But yes, I do agree. I think Chelsea have a bit of a iffy record against Arsenal for some reason. They always kind of come. They actually did the double.
Against Arteta in particular, actually, we were good before Arteta came along.
Yeah, well, Arsenal did the double over Chelsea, I think, last year as well. Yeah. It's surprising for me to hear, but yeah, they did the double. So it's not a foregone conclusion at all. It's not a foregone conclusion, and you never know what can happen. So that concludes our preview show. I think it's some very, very good games coming up, and we're kind of excited. And yeah, we haven't covered any of the Spanish league and the Serie A. Serie A is actually back this week as well. We're going to start with the first Serie A game, so it'll be interesting. But unfortunately, we just have a little bit of time and not a lot of things to a lot of things to talk about, but not a lot of time to talk about. So today that's all we have, but we will try to cover more ground in future shows. We'll try to see what we can do with that. But if you enjoyed the show, please remember to like, share, and subscribe this channel. Let us know in the comments what your predictions for games are as well. Do you think we went? Do you think we were on spot on, or do you think there's the Gaurav, Siddhant, and Nishikant went overboard on the United predictions? They did, but you can say that in the comments that they did. What do you think about what's gonna happen? It'll be interesting to hear your thoughts as well. And yeah, stay tuned. We're gonna do some review shows as well, so we'll try to see. We'll try to note down these predictions and we'll see which ones came right over the weekend. But one exciting round of fixtures coming up. So thank you so much for watching. Have a good day, night, whatever time you're watching this, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care. Bye bye. Oh, thank you. So, by the way, thank you so much, Gaurav, Siddhant, and Nishikant. I forgot to say that. Thank you so much, Gaurav, Siddhant, and Nishikant, for joining me today. It's really, really exciting. Always a pleasure as always to have you on this show, and we'll look forward to having you in future shows as well. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, man.
All right, take care, guys. Bye.
Bye bye.
Oh, oops. Sorry about that.